Long ago, in the quiet village of Okpoko, there lived a boy named Obinna. He was poor, but his heart was pure. His father had died when he was small, and his mother struggled to feed him with the little harvest from their small farm. Obinna was different from other boys. While they played wrestling and chased goats around the square, he loved to sit by the river and sing to himself. His voice was sweet, and sometimes it sounded like the river itself answered him back. One evening, as the moon rose and the fireflies danced, Obinna sat by the riverbank singing. Suddenly, the water rippled though no stone had been thrown. Out of the shimmering water stepped the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. Her skin glowed like the moon, her eyes sparkled like stars, and her voice was soft like wind in the palm trees. "Obinna," she said, calling his name though he had never seen her before. "I have listened to your songs, and they touched my heart." The boy's mouth went dry. "Who are you?" he asked. The girl smiled. "I am Neka, daughter of the river. A spirit." From that day, Obinna could not stop thinking about her. Every night, he returned to the river, and Neka came out to meet him. She brought him gifts, a basket of fish, fruits that never spoiled, and once, even a shiny cowrie shell that glowed in the dark. The boy told no one, not even his mother. Who would believe that a river spirit loved him? Weeks passed, and their bond grew stronger. One night, Neka looked into his eyes and whispered, "Obinna, if you truly love me, take me as your wife." Obinna's heart pounded. "But you are a spirit, and I am just a poor boy." She touched his hand, and her fingers felt warm, alive. Love knows no boundary between spirit and flesh. "Will you marry me?" He nodded slowly. "Yes, I will." That night, under the moonlight and the watch of the river, Obinna promised himself to Neka. The river roared as if it were clapping, and the wind blew soft like a song of blessing. From then on, strange things began to happen in Obinna's life. His mother's farm, once dry and poor, began to flourish with yam and cassava bigger than any in the village. Their goat gave birth to twins. And whenever Obinna sang, rain would fall gently, watering the crops. The villagers started to whisper, "How can a poor widow's son suddenly have such fortune?" Some said he had found a hidden treasure. Others believed he had gone into the forest at night to meet powerful spirits. But no one knew the truth, that Obinna had married a spirit. And then, one night, as Obinna walked back from the river with joy in his heart, he found his mother sitting by the fire, looking troubled. "Obinna, my son," she said softly, "I cannot understand. Our farm grows as if the gods themselves planted it. Goats multiply, yam heaps are full, and yet, we did not labor for this blessing. Tell me, my child, what have you done?" Obinna looked into the flames. His lips trembled. He wanted to tell her everything, but Neka's words echoed in his mind, "Do not reveal me to anyone. Our love must remain a secret, or else." So he only smiled weakly. "Mama, maybe the ancestors are smiling on us." But his mother was not satisfied. A mother always knows. The next evening, Obinna hurried to the river. Neka was waiting, dressed in a flowing gown of water that sparkled under the moonlight. She ran to him and touched his face. "My husband," she said with joy, "the time is coming when I must show you my true world. Will you follow me?" Obinna's heart skipped. "Your world? The spirit world?" "Yes," she whispered, her eyes glowing. "Where the river begins, beyond the eyes of men. There, I will show you treasures no human has seen." Obinna felt both fear and wonder. He loved her, but the thought of stepping into the spirit world made his knees shake. Still, he nodded. "I will follow you." But unknown to him, someone had been watching. That night, as he walked home, two young hunters from the village, Ikin and Chaik, stepped out from behind the trees. "Obinna," Chaik said with a sly smile, "we saw you. We saw you speaking to the river." Tell us, who is that maiden that comes out to meet you? Is she human or something else? Obinna's heart pounded. His secret was no longer safe. I saw her eyes shine like fire, Ikin said, fear and greed mixing in his voice. That is no ordinary woman. She must be a spirit. If we capture her, she will give us power, wealth, and wives of our choice. Obinna clenched his fist. Leave her out of this. She is not for you. But they only laughed and walked away, whispering to each other. That night, Obinna could not sleep. He kept hearing Neka's warning, do not reveal me, or else, yet now, others knew. What if they followed him again? What if they tried to harm her? The next day, while the village gathered in the square for the yam festival, the hunters secretly planned. Tonight, Ikin said, we will go to the river. When she comes out, we will catch her. Obinna, unaware of their full plan, went as usual to meet Neka. She smiled and brought him closer to the water's edge. Obinna, tonight is the night. I will take you with me into my world. But as she held his hand and the river began to glow, shadows moved among the trees. Ikin and Chak were there, hiding, waiting, watching. The water rippled, the air grew colder, and Obinna's fate was about to change forever. Forever. The water rippled, glowing with strange blue light. Obinna's hand was in Neka's, and he felt himself being pulled gently toward the river. Suddenly, crack, a branch snapped. From the shadows, and Chak rushed out, nets in their hands. There she is. Ikin shouted. Catch her before she escapes. Neka turned sharply, her eyes blazing like fire. The river behind her roared as if it were alive. You dare, she thundered. Her voice no longer soft, but echoing like thunder in the valley. Obinna cried out, stop. Leave her. But the hunters were blinded by greed. They threw their nets, aiming to trap the spirit maiden. Before the nets could touch her, the river rose up like a wall of water. A mighty wave swept over them and Chak into the current. They screamed, struggling, but the river showed no mercy. With one final splash, they were gone, swallowed by the depths. Obinna stood frozen, his chest pounding. Neka turned back to him. Her face softened, but her eyes were sad. Obinna, this is why I told you our love must remain a secret. Human greed destroys what it does not understand. Tears welled in his eyes. I did not tell them. They spied on us. Please, do not leave me. She touched his cheek gently. I know, my husband. But now the river spirits are angry. They will not let me remain in your world any longer. If you wish to stay with me, you must come now. You must never look back. Once you step into the water, you will not return. The river behind her glowed brighter, swelling like a doorway. Obinna's heart was torn in two. His mother was in the village, waiting for him. But here was the woman offering him a life beyond imagination. Choose quickly, Neka whispered. The sound of the rushing water grew as if the river itself demanded an answer. Obinna took one deep breath and stepped forward. The river opened, swallowing him and Neka together. For a moment, the villagers nearby saw two figures glowing beneath the water, drifting into another world. Then the river calmed, silent as ever. By morning, word spread. Obinna was gone. Some said he drowned. Others said the river spirits took him. His mother wept by the river calling his name, but no answer came. And so, in Okpoko village, the story lived on. The boy who married a spirit. And to this day, when the moon is full and the night is quiet, villagers say they can still hear a boy's voice singing from the river and a spirit's voice answering him.